I truly, truly believe any team in Phoenix can win the national championship this weekend. And I wouldn't have said that a month ago.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the women's NCAA tournament is down to its final four. We're so excited to talk about those matchups. We're going to take a little bit of a deep look into the Sweet 16, how they got there, but we're bringing on the GOAT. The sideline reporter, GOAT, Hall of Famer, Holly Rowe is coming on the show, and she's going to help us even more figure out how Texas, South Carolina, UConn, and UCLA got to Phoenix. Megan has an announcement in regards to Phoenix, but we're going to put a hold on that for just 1 second because, as you guys know, these drop on Thursday. We're recording on Tuesday, but on Friday, April 3rd, the WNBA's expansion draft is going to be taking place. Honestly, it kind of feels like the moment we've all been waiting for, like it's all finally starting. Prior to the draft, though, it's the Portland Fire and the Toronto Tempo. There had to be, did you see this? There had to be a coin flip. So there was a coin toss.
I love it when sports gets to the point where it's like, we don't know what to do.
Basic.
It's actually we're making everything up and it just gets like laid bare that everything's getting made up. And they're like,
I'm holding a number behind my back. What is it?
It's 2.
You're right. Okay. So they did a coin toss.
So funny.
So for those that don't know, basically there's the expansion draft, but there's also the college draft, right? And that'll happen mid-April. So these two teams flipped a coin, and the winner, which ended up being the Toronto Tempo, got to choose if they wanted the first pick, the first choice in the expansion draft, or both teams were slotted in the 6th or 7th pick for the college draft, or did they want to be the higher pick, the 6th pick? So interestingly, right out the gate, do you have like a gut? What would you do?
I'm looking at.
Don't think too hard. Just pick.
I'm looking at the college draft, and I'm looking at like who I think is available and trying to like discern who's going to be best.
Are you picking first in the expansion or having the higher pick, which is number 6 in the college draft? You're the Toronto Tempo. You're on the clock.
I think it's a strong draft class. So I'm going college draft.
Okay, so that's what they did.
That sounded confident.
Yeah.
College draft.
Listen, I know. Question mark.
What are you doing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know now, but I actually think I'm doing the same thing. At first, though, I was like, whoa, yes. Why wouldn't you want the first pick in the expansion draft? Because there was a rule change. So this is something I wanted to highlight for those that are going to check it out. There was a rule change different from previous expansion drafts, which really actually is different from the last year's expansion draft. Because everybody's a free agent, this expansion draft is totally different. So teams can protect players. Last time, you couldn't pick an unrestricted free agent who had already been cored. So Nneka Ogwumike was a great example last year. Yeah. She could not be picked because she's unrestricted, so she can go wherever she wants, even if you did pick her, and you can't core her and keep her. So Seattle last year actually didn't have to protect Nneka. She was like unselectable. But this year, even if you're a Nneka Ogwumike-like player from last year, and I think Brianna Stewart falls into this category, the team has to protect you because a player like that can now get taken. And Megan, I bet you're wondering, why this rule change? What does this do? Well, I'll tell you.
Honestly, I was.
Because the money is what it is now, and the max is, somewhere, I think it's like 1.4 million. The team that has the ability to pay you that money is the team that has, let's just call it, has your rights. So if the Toronto Tempo took Brianna Stewart, it doesn't mean Stewie would have to stay. By the way, Stewie will be protected, everybody, for the New York Liberty. Don't worry, but we're just using her. It doesn't mean Stewie has to stay, but it means Toronto can pay her 1.4. And I forget what the regular max is, but it's like much lower, like hundreds of thousands of dollars lower. So Stewie could stay for the higher money.
Okay.
And that gives them a leg up on this player.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yes.
Okay. So so keep your eyeballs on that as you watch on Friday. Back to the decision. At first I was like, whoa, don't you want to have the opportunity to get whatever that player is or whoever you think might be the best free agent first? But then I got deeper into the rules. I know we're going deep. Sorry to all the producers who are like, just take a minute and highlight this. It goes deep.
Go for it.
Because then what I realized is each team, the Toronto and Portland teams, can choose a player off one team in each round. So if you pick second in the first round, you can actually get 2 players off a team like the New York Liberty, who has a lot of talent, before the other team can.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Because it goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
You'll basically get like their second and their third, as opposed to just their first available and their fourth available.
Got it.
Another little tidbit, by the way, because I've gotten this question in the wild. Players do not know if they've been protected or not. If they got picked, they obviously know they weren't.
Wow.
But outside of that, players don't know. It's not like you're called and told this. Pretty interesting, huh?
I would be calling and asking.
So yeah, so just want to give you like all those little fun facts as you watch it. And now, Megan, give the people what they've been waiting for.
Well, if you've also been living under a rock and haven't heard this news, that's nuts. We are going to be live in Phoenix this Saturday. We are recording an episode of A Touch More Live presented by AT&T, Saturday, April 4th at the Orpheum Theater with special guests, not 1, but 2, Chelsea Gray and Shay Ralph. I'm pumped. I get to talk to you and Chelsea about being the best point guards ever, and Shay Ralph about her thrashing you in workouts. Like, I've got to get down to her philosophy on why they were so hard. I've heard horror stories from you.
She knows no other way. She knows no other way.
I gotta talk to her about it. I'm very excited. I've never been in one. I don't ever want to be in one. I just want to hear about it. Tickets are going fast. Go to atouchmorelive.com to get yours. It's time to start the show. I am Megan Rapinoe.
And I'm Super. This is A Touch More. Let's get into it.
Today's episode is sponsored by AT&T.
And we have a special guest joining us, Ted from AT&T. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so stoked to be here. And so I thought we could play this super original game that I just came up with called Are You a Megan or Are You a Sue? What do you think?
Ooh, never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Let's do it.
So tell me, is it more a Sue or a Megan thing to text a group chat right before the game even starts?
Oh, guilty.
Obviously such a Megan thing.
And so what does the text say usually?
Usually something like, this is already the greatest game ever.
And I'm over there like, tip-off hasn't even happened.
And I'm over here like, you got to set the tone.
When the connection matters, it has to be AT&T.
Okay, we finally made it to the check-in.
We did it.
As we said, we're doing a lot of women's basketball, a lot of college basketball.
Yeah.
The Final Four is set. Super hype. These are going to be incredible matchups. I actually can't wait. Sometimes it doesn't, fall this way. And it's like everything I wanted. It did go chalk, which is great for me because it's what I wanted. But there were a lot of interesting moments in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. So we're going to take a quick look at those. Again, everybody went chalk except for Notre Dame, the 6 seed, upset Vanderbilt in the Sweet 16, the 2 seed. First up, I'm going to do a wellness check. How we doing over there, Megan? How we doing?
Well, not great because I really went out on a limb and it snapped.
Yes, it did.
It really snapped. But as you know, and as the world knows, I do really like UConn and they've had a great year. And I love watching them play. And I love Sarah Strong.
Oh my God. Are you moonwalking right now?
No.
Like, how are you walking backwards? I can't even see it.
I'm not moonwalking.
You're literally.
Nope, I'm not. But I'm fine with it.
I've never seen a moonwalk sitting down. It's crazy.
I've picked Vandy knowing that was going on.
I'm going to stand on business.
I did. And I'm really sad that they were out. And I'm sad that they lost before they even got to UConn, which is really what I wanted.
Yeah.
So that was a great season. They had a great season. And I'm sure they're happy for them. But it's a young team.
Snapped. It's a young team that likely needed to experience this.
Yeah.
Which actually segues nicely into who we really want to talk about, which is Hannah Hidalgo. This is a player that she's a junior. She talked about wanting to get over the hump of getting out of the Sweet 16, which she accomplished, which was a big, huge thing for that team. She was incredible. I mean, that was one of the all-time performances. Like,
You gotta be.
yeah, the only difference is it was just in the Sweet 16 as opposed to maybe like a semis or a finals, but a triple double. Okay. So she had 31 points, 11 rebounds, 10 steals. We're going to circle back on that in a second. Almost a quadruple double. She had 7 assists, 3 assists away from a quadruple double. It's like, it's incredible. But I think the best part was you can look at those numbers and the one that jumps out is the 10 steals. But it really is less about the actual theft, if you will.
Mhm.
It's more about from the second, I mean, literally the jump ball of like from the jump ball, you could see that Vanderbilt and those guards had a little bit of fear in them every time Hannah came around. And it stifled their
Yeah.
offense. It stifled their play. It took them a while to get going. It took them a while to get Michaela Blake's going, their top scorer. She finished with a lot of points, but never really got like in a flow. The game was still close though. So, I mean, they got through it. But the way Hannah set the tone defensively was incredible. Very rarely do you see performances like that on the defensive end. It was nuts. So that was really impressive. I was blown away. And then of course she had like the game-winning assist essentially, which was this incredible like wraparound. She hooked it right around the defense's leg.
I just feel like players like that are so demoralizing because they are relentless. And she's obviously a menace on the defensive end, and she's active and she's really good at it. She has like such a talent for it. But just to know as an offensive player or as an offense, that there's nothing that you can do to stop this player from coming back every single possession. She doesn't care if she gets beat. She doesn't care if she gets scored on. She doesn't care if she gets a steal. She doesn't care. Nothing. There's nothing you can do to diminish the effort and the intensity and the menacing of this player. And you're just like, well, this sucks. This totally sucks.
As a point guard, I can tell you when you play against a player like that, it sucks. I always describe it as like, it's almost like you feel like they took the soul out of your body. Like it's so suffocating to feel like you can't even dribble the ball up to run a play. I texted Coach Ariema, like once I knew they were going to match up, and I was like, "Hey, if I were you," I literally wrote him like 3 paragraphs on things I would do. Which basically, to summarize it, I was like, whoever she's guarding, just put them in the corner. Like, don't even fight it. Don't even have Sarah Strong bring it up. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, I'm showing respect by saying I'm going to put whoever Hannah is on as far away from the ball as possible. Do you know what he wrote back? He wrote back, I'm talking 3 paragraphs. I went hard. He wrote back, yeah. I said, okay, good. Sounds like you're ready. You're welcome.
You know what? You're welcome. Great.
Yeah.
We're all clear then. Great. I love that.
So great job to Notre Dame. Huge Sweet 16 win. Moving on to another Sweet 16 epic game, like instant classic type vibes. Duke had an amazing game winner. Ashlyn Jackson, she had just literally like a play or two before missed 2 free throws to put them even further ahead. It came down to this last second 3 shot fake. Flau'jae Johnson went for it. And Ashlyn hit it at the buzzer. Incredible. I mean, buzzer beaters in March. Oh,
come on. That's what dreams are made of. You know where it's going?
Seriously.
One shining moment. It's going to the one shining moment.
You know, I forget what women's basketball has. We don't have one shining moment.
What?
That's the men's. We have a different. Yeah. I forget what the song is. Somebody let us know. Somebody in the comments will let us know. So yeah, that was just like classic March, just a player making a play. Yeah.
Everything
and of course, if I'm being honest, like watching Flau'jae's career end was super sad. Here's a player that had not just an incredible basketball career, like on the court, had so much impact off the court. Kim Mulkey talked about it after the game. Just, you don't see a lot of kids staying for 4 years. Flau'jae stayed, and the impact she had on the LSU community will be felt for literally a lifetime.
Flau'jae is one of one and has given a blueprint to other athletes who want to do things differently or have multiple interests. And honestly, was just like a joy. We had her on the pod, you know, month or 2 months ago or whatever. And she just in life, in real life, on the TV, on the court, she's just like such a joy and has been like such a pleasure for everybody to watch. So Flau'jae, congratulations on an incredible career. We'll see you in the dub.
So you win the dub. So yeah, so it's all set. South Carolina will play UConn. UCLA will play Texas. And that is why we're bringing on Holly Rowe. She is going to give us all the tidbits. We have some other questions for her too. I'm kind of excited to ask her about just being a sideline reporter. But real quick, in the Final Four, it's actually pretty incredible. This is the 5th time the women's Final Four has been all number 1 seeds. That actually surprised me. It's only the 5th time. I feel like all I've ever heard is how, the women's tournament's so boring. All the number 1 seeds is good in the Final Four. It's only the 5th time. So that was interesting. But this is the 2nd time that it's been the same teams from one year to the next. So 2025 and 2026, same teams. That's crazy.
Kind of incredible, especially with the portal and transfers and all of like that whole environment that those 4 teams like established themselves. And we're just like, no, we're keeping people, adding freshmen, doing it all, and then losing people. And also just like, this is who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another game winner. It happened on the men's side. You know what I'm talking about.
You know what it is.
So some are saying that Braylon Mullins shot to beat Duke the other night to send UConn to another Final Four. By the way, another Final Four where both the men's and the women's team are in it. We're going to get to that in a second. Is better than Christian Laettner's The Shot. I know. There's been like articles about it. I actually don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel. Christian's was like a turnaround jumper. Granted, it was at like the free throw line or maybe like the old like high school 3-point line. But I do think the dramatic nature of UConn being down 19, coming back, somehow you're in this position, by the way. I'll tell you every huddle I've ever been in where I've been down with like, let's say like, down 1 or 2 with 10 seconds. It's like, okay, guys, let's try to get a trap, but we're probably gonna have to foul. You never get the trap. You never get the trap and the steal. You never get it. The coach is saying it and you're like, yeah. Cool. We're probably gonna have to foul. And they actually got it. They actually got it, hit it at the buzzer. As you know, I was going crazy. I think my favorite part, well, I have a lot of favorite parts here. My first thought was, and this is why everybody hates us, because you couldn't, like every group chat, I had a bet with Brad. I was going crazy. And this is why everybody hates us. No, my first thought was basketball capital of the world. My second thought was, how many times is this that both the men and the women are in the Final Four? And I'll tell you, it's 6. Which is incredible. They're the only school to ever win it both times, the men and the women in the same year, 2004, 2014. So fingers crossed for 2026. But my actual favorite part was well, outside of Danny Hurley's mom, that might have been my favorite part. If you haven't seen that clip, go look it up. My actual favorite part was just like Danny's interview and being like, this is UConn culture. This is what we do. Gino Auriemma built this. Jim Calhoun built this. Kevin Ollie built this. And just, I don't know, for me personally, it made me feel so proud to be a part of that program. Like both the men's and the women's. It's always been love. It's always been so much support. And you think about Storrs, Connecticut, you're like, how did this happen?
Can't make it make sense.
How did this happen? But I think the names Danny named, and then of course his own, that's how it happened. You have to have coaches that are building culture, that are leading teams time and time again. So just an incredibly proud moment. I know we joke about, I lean into it sometimes too much, the UConn bias or this or that. But the truth is, like, for all of us that went there, this is our school, man. And it's just so incredible to be a part of it. I feel so lucky. It's like mine forever. It's so awesome.
I feel the same way about the national team. I think that you feel about UConn, where it's just like, I have this like long history and lineage of success. So even when I played and we were down or things were tough, I was like, oh, well, we're gonna win because this is who we are. This is our culture. This is how we handle ourselves. This is the style that we play, whatever. It's like people say that you guys are insufferable because you keep getting back to the Final Four and you keep hitting game-winning shots and so it's like part of it is like you're smug because it's true a little bit, And then like I'm sorry if you're like that, you're gonna be a little bit smug. Like you're basketball capital of the world. So it's like, basketball capital of the world. I know.
And then simultaneously, I'm so nervous for this Final Four. All I can think about is all the ways we can lose. It's crazy.
No, You
but
guys
that's
are
what makes
also
us
like,
great. I don't know.
I know. You're also like captured and just like, oh, what if we lose? And I'm like, I don't know. You guys are doing really great. And like, everyone's trying really hard. And like, but I know the expectation is to win. And so if you don't win, then it's like, you're the asterisk years in the records where you don't win instead of the asterisks where you do win for most teams. So
yeah. Actually, just to give like other schools a shout, this has actually, I didn't realize the men and the women's team had gotten to the Final Four 15 other times, 15 other schools.
Wow.
You know what? I'm not sure that it's 15 other schools because there might have been some duplicates in there, but 15 other times. Like Duke did it once, Texas has done it, Louisville did it. Like there's been a lot of different schools. So it's not just us. It's not just us.
But it's mostly you. It's mostly you. This is perfect time to get to the interview. Our next guest has been in the game for the last 30 years. Holly Rowe joined ESPN as a sideline reporter in 1995 and has been covering college football and basketball ever since. She won an Emmy for Outstanding Personality Reporter in 2022. So needless to say, we are so excited to get her thoughts on this Final Four and also on all of the changes she's predicting she'll see in college basketball. But in addition to that, a couple of years ago, Holly started a foundation called Joyous, which seeks to create opportunities for joy for those who need it the most. Without further ado, please welcome to the show, Holly Rowe. Back to our sponsored segment from AT&T, and back to Ted.
So great being back, guys. I feel like I never left, Are you guys ready for another round of Are You a Megan or a Sue?
Ted, we invented this game. We're born ready.
So is it more Sue or Megan to pause the game so everybody can rewatch the play?
Oh, low-key, that's very Sue-coded.
High-key, she's right.
Okay, say more words. Tell me more.
Look, people need to analyze the play together. It's like group analysis. It's very important. We all know this.
You turn things into homework so fast. It's great for all of us.
You love homework. You're welcome.
Don't we all? So, okay, next question. Is it more of a Sue thing or a Megan thing to send a highlight clip to the group chat?
Oof. Again, that one's on me.
Okay, so Megan, tell me, what does that text usually say along with the clip?
Oh, it's something like, watch this footwork.
I mean, when it's really good footwork, we all have to pay attention and watch it.
Thank you for saying it. And is it in all caps or what does it look like?
Exactly. Very energetic.
It's important.
When the connection matters, it has to be AT&T.
Holly Rowe, welcome to the show.
This is very exciting. I'm going to try to be like a grown-up professional because I really just want to talk to you guys and have, make bad jokes, but
yeah, exactly. We're also going to try to be grown-up and professional. It sometimes works, but sometimes
maybe
doesn't.
Not.
It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, obviously we're going to get to the Final Four. There's a million things happening. I want to start with all the talk about travel and how it's impacted teams' performances. What do you think the impact is of it?
I think the impact, there is a physical component for travel, right? You guys have been there. Okay. You've been on long flights. You've been on cross-country flights. I think South Carolina, Sacramento, that's 3 time zones. I do think the good news now is everybody, so anyone who was in Sacramento, you're in the same time zone now coming to Phoenix for UCLA and South Carolina. I think the bigger question has been, and people are going to hate me for this, and I'm sorry, NCAA and everybody else. I think the bigger issue has been the rims. So I have done exhaustive study into the balls. Now, trust me, I've been looking at everything related to balls, and I consider myself a ball expert. So I have been on PSI duty. I have talked to the site reps for the NCAA. They were checking the PSI, which is pounds per square inch. Sue, help me. You're a ball expert as well, I believe.
I just know it's next to a little number on the ball when you're putting the needle in.
Yes. So the PSI, and I have been told that they are at 7.2. The max they should be is 8.5 PSI. So they're not as bouncy as everybody's trying to make them out to be. But I'm telling you, these are the most unfriendly rims in the world. And I just think that's an issue. So I don't know how we fix that if you use rims that are broken in. I don't know, as a shooter, Sue, tell me what you think, but I'm looking at UConn stats. And they have I want to say 6 players that are 38% or 40% 3-point shooters. None of them shot that in Fort Worth. Everybody can't be bad. So I just think there is something. I just don't know exactly what.
Yeah, hopefully we get the Phoenix Mercury rims out here. Those are some good rims.
That
I always liked playing in Phoenix. But the thing about the balls to me isn't the bounciness. When they're new, they just have a different stickiness to them.
Yes.
You got sticky balls.
Well, I'm also a sticky ball expert, as it would be. So I reached out to, this is so weird, but this is a shoe thing that happened. I have to show you this picture. So I reached out to another expert in the field. This is real. I can't even believe this is what we're talking about when it comes to the Final Four, which is a bigger issue. But anyway, I have a friend that ages all the footballs for big events. And so he preps and ages with this special mud substance and a brush. Football Gridiron Prep is his name on Instagram. You guys can look it up and get a video of him scrubbing these footballs because there is a sheen that comes on balls. So I reached out to him yesterday about basketballs, and he said those cannot be prepped the same way a leather football is because it is a synthetic substance. But there is a sheen that is on a new basketball that you can take off with hand sanitizer or alcohol. So they could de-sheen the balls. So anyway, this is not where I thought we were going with the podcast, but as you would have it, false.
Yeah.
False.
I love
Reel
it.
us back in. Reel us back in, Megan. Reel us back in.
I'm going to do a professional move here, and I'm going to tie us back to the travel because I had a lot of questions. I actually always have a lot of questions, and I feel like I've asked some of these questions in person, but how do you pack for these trips? This is crazy. You have to show up on TV. You're not just I'm packing and I'm going to wear the same button down in trouser pants every day for 4 days on a vacation. How do you pack for all of this? And how do you do all the travel? You're not hopping on, maybe you guys are hopping on the team charters, but walk us through it. I'm how does Holly Rowe go through the tournament?
Yeah.
And did you check a bag? Make sure we get that information in.
I did not check a bag.
Oh my God.
I did not check a bag.
That is mind blowing. I love this. Now we got to hear
it. So the airlines are going to hate me, but I have this really unique system where I can get all my stuff really badly packed into 2 bags. And once I get onto the plane, I just take out another bag and expand to 3. And so I get on with 2 and I get off with 3. And I think I'm a genius. Yeah. But I'm also a good packer. I try to put multiple shoes together and roll stuff. I've traveled to Europe for a month before without checking a bag and without repeating an outfit. So I feel like I'm not blessed with a lot of talents in many areas, but world's best packer, that would be me.
Do you start with shoes and build?
Yes,
pants
shoes
and
on
build?
the bottom.
Shoes and build.
Shoes on the bottom. And then I also have a really cool to-me bag that I can put shoes underneath the work. I'm going to show you really quick because I've got it right here. This bag right here, I have shoes in the bottom of my to-me work bag right now. I've got 3 pairs of shoes. So world's best packer. It's a thing.
Yeah. I want to go back to one thing you said, you weren't blessed with talents. We're going to decline that comment and just leave that there. But what we are going to bring in is another one of your talents. This is another thing that I just want to know because I feel like it's this weird, funny part of your job where you have to nab people on the sideline, whether it's halftime or you got to do the coach's interview. And it's everybody wants the $1 billion media deal, but nobody wants to do the interview. What's your strategy and how do you feel about it? And how do you nab them? How do you get them?
Well, Sue, I've had to nab you many a time in our life together. I've probably nabbed Sue hundreds of times. How do you
It's more like an arm grab. Yeah. More like an arm grab.
But I'm always apologetic, hey, hi. Here's the thing. I think the halftime interviews are hard because players are out of breath. They don't want to stop. I had a situation last year with Paige Beckers, who I would say I have a fantastic relationship with Paige. And she kind of had this gesture, she was pissed she had to stop. and it kind of went viral. And
Yeah, we talked about it.
She
Yeah,
on the
texted
show.
me and she texted me and apologized. And she's like, I wasn't upset with you. I was upset because I had just missed the shot going into halftime. I'm so sorry. And that was really sweet. She didn't need to apologize to me, but I also communicated with her because this time of year, I could grab Paige for every interview in the March Madness, right? I could grab AZ for every interview. So I wanted to communicate to her that I am trying to spread it out. I'm trying to get Sarah Strong. I'm trying to get Rory Harmon one interview, Madison Booker. Like, I am very conscientious of, I've grabbed you too much. I want to make it easier on you right now. So I do try to be super high level conscientious with that. But my favorite nab of all time, can I share? Because it involves one of our people on here. Favorite nab of all time.
Yeah.
Playoff game, Phoenix has just won in Seattle. And there are rumors, pretty strong, from the woman herself that this is probably her last game in a Seattle Storm uniform. But Phoenix has won the game. And so I need to grab Diana Taurasi, who's just had this unbelievable game. So I grabbed Diana. I asked her to stay parked at half court. And then I race around the court like a cat, like, and get to Sue Bird before she walks off the court. And I beg you to do an interview with me and Diana. And I believe it's the most iconic interview maybe I've ever done in women's basketball. Maybe you've ever done, Sue, because like you guys swap jerseys and Diana starts crying. You start crying. I start crying. And the chant from the stands, one more year, one more year. So to me, that's my best nab of all time. And like usually a losing athlete is not that gracious and you don't want to come back and do an interview, but you were so gracious in that moment. And I think that was a really iconic interview.
Well, your, best nab gave me maybe one of my, it's not favorite. Favorite doesn't do it justice, like fondest moments and memories of my career, quite literally. So thank you for nabbing me.
But why would you say yes? Like you've just lost. You might be thinking your career's over in that moment. Why would you say yes as the athlete that just lost?
Well, a combination of things. You were incredibly kind and gracious about it, like the way you explained it. You like sold me. You sold me really well. And it was Diana. Like, it's like if it's another player that I don't have that relationship with, because to be honest, I didn't want to take that moment from her. They had just won. They were moving on. But because it was her and we have that relationship, and then again, you were a good seller. You got me.
It's because she's Sue Bird, like one word,
Yeah.
Like one word. Yeah.
She's just Sue Bird. That's why she did it.
Okay.
Sorry. That's true.
Let's get to the basketball. Okay, seriously, we're obviously going to talk about the Final Four, so put that to the side for a second. I want to talk about one team that maybe people thought could have gone further than they did, and that's Iowa State. They got bonked out in the first round, and I bring them up because of Audi Crooks, right? Like second highest scorer in the NCAA. So much fun to watch. You've covered her a ton. Like, what do you think happened for that team for them to not even make it out of the first round?
Yeah, I think there were a couple of factors. So Audi Crooks is unstoppable. She's quite literally unguardable. So that's one thing. But Addie Brown had been their second leading scorer and had been probably their most important player all year. And she had a back injury that kept her out for almost the second half of the season. She came back about, I want to say maybe 20 days before that first round game. And she just wasn't right. She couldn't hit a shot. Okay. And so if Addie Brown, because she's the one that stretches the floor so you can't double Audie, that impact, and then they just couldn't make shots. And listen, I don't want to take away anything from Syracuse. I think Syracuse is really good. They didn't show that versus UConn, but I really love Coach Jack at Syracuse. They were better. And, Iowa State's tough. I think they had been primed at certain times of the year to make a good run, but the injury to Addie Brown's back was a major factor.
Okay.
Is there something else going on there, though? Because Audi Crooks has stayed quiet about entering the transfer portal. 8 players have said that they are entering the portal. I would be shocked if Audi Crooks is staying. Was it the loss? Is there something else? Dawn recently also said about recruitment conversations that, especially in the transfer portal, it just totally revolves around money. It's really being, it's really reminding me just like strictly of free agency. Like players are just like, where am I going? What am I going to get? What's the offer? What's going on there? Do you know anything?
I think there's a couple of things. Number one, it's money. It's just plain and simple. Iowa State does not have the money or has not given the resources to women's basketball. Bill Fennelly is a great coach. He is a Hall of Fame basketball coach. I know before that game was even played, we had some side conversations with people that Audie was going to be offered a lot of money from other schools in the portal. And so she was going to have a decision. It's like, do you want to stay at Iowa State? And like, this is not 100% sure, but I think she was making around maybe 200 or so to be at Iowa State. They just can't put all that money together to keep her. And I understand that. They understand that if she needs to leave and get the money she deserves, she might have to go somewhere else. And fans can't feel hurt and disappointed about it. She's got to go where's best for her financially. The other thing that I don't know is, we've talked for years, is Coach Fennelly going to retire? It is weird that it's 8 players. So I don't know if they know something that we don't know. That might be another consideration there, but I have not been able to dig into that yet.
Yeah, I mean, the transfer portal is just so nuts. I can't even imagine it. I talked about this last week. I'm wondering, so when I was in school, you had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, is that the checks and balances that's needed? Do they need to bring that back? I'm sure nobody will like it, but it's like, does that provide some sort of, I don't know, guardrail?
I think with the money, the way that, like, Audie's making 200, she should be making way more than 200. But if she has to sit out a year, then you're financially penalizing her. But now it's almost like we're sort of it feels like half in between how it used to be, half in between. And now it's actually really just like professional sports, but every single year you're a free agent.
Yeah. Let me give you one other example that's the opposite, though. And this is probably my favorite story in sports right now, is Raven Johnson from South Carolina. Raven tears her ACL as a freshman, stays patient, comes back, had to lose 40 pounds that she had gained during that process, gets in shape, has a good freshman year. Then the famous wave off, Caitlin says, hey, we're not guarding her, which I still am not sure was malicious. You know how that is. Like, she's not on the scouting report. She's over here. That moment goes viral. Horrible criticism. Raven's mother told me that she considered quitting basketball after that moment. Doesn't quit, puts her head down, absorbs the hatred, and gets in the gym. And I'm telling you what, they have a chance to win the national championship this week in Phoenix because of Raven Johnson, and she has stayed all 5 years. She has not taken money elsewhere. She's probably been underpaid from South Carolina. Those are the stories that we live for, of people who have overcome adversity, ACL, criticism, wants to quit, and now here she is, a champion in many ways. So Raven Johnson, to me, is the antithesis of that, of like the person who stayed, and I want to celebrate her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's just get into it then. You bring it up, South Carolina.
Yeah.
They took like a pretty bad loss to Texas in their conference tournament. I know you were there, but they've seemingly like bounced back. What I see in them is kind of, Dawn's template of sorts. This is now their 6th Final Four in a row. So she's got this template, but this year, different from other years, it was like a lot of new faces. And you mentioned Raven, Tessa, they've got outside shooting to like go with it. So tell me how you view this latter part of their season and as they head into the Final Four.
Yeah, I think they hit a buzzsaw. I'm calling it the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Texas defense for everybody, because they have massacred everybody lately. I think that South Carolina is really tough to beat because of their depth right now. As you talked about it, like Raven's hitting shots. Tanaya Latson led the nation in scoring. When she has to score, she can get a tough bucket. Now we've got Agat McKeer, who's coming off the bench, scoring threat. She was terrific in their last game. They just have so many different weapons that can score. And Joyce Edwards, who's leading the team in scoring at 19 points a game. Medina Okot, who I think is going to be one of the best players in the WNBA for the next 10 years. So they have all the pieces. They have a big, they have 3-point shooting. Their defense, they're holding opponents to 33% field goal percentage defense. So to me, South Carolina has all of the pieces. The only problem is, so do the other 3 teams that are here. It's so crazy what mirror images they are of each other, with excellent 3-point shooting, excellent defense, low field goal percentage defense. Bigs can stretch the floor, all 4 teams.
That's crazy. All right. So they're playing against UConn. So what do you see in UConn? Obviously, you just talked about the shooting.
Yeah, I've been kind of embedded with UConn the last 2.5 weeks. So we've seen UConn all regular season decimate people, right? Like they have been the juggernaut. And I think in the selection show, all of our people in the studio were like, nobody can beat UConn. Well, they have looked a little bit mortal in their last 2 weeks. So their first game, they came out, didn't shoot well. Second game, they really destroyed Syracuse. AZ Fudd has a career high in her final game in Gamble. But they didn't shoot well in Fort Worth. So what I'm trying to figure out is, again, this is not an excuse. I think it's a reality because nobody shot well in Fort Worth. Was it the rims? Was it the ball? Was it, whatever? And can UConn get back to being who they are? Ashlyn Shade couldn't hit a shot. AZ couldn't hit a shot. It was a really bad shooting regional for UConn, but they can always rely on their defense. They're the best defensive team in the country. They have the best player in the country in Sarah Strong. They can spread the floor. They have depth off the bench. Blanca Quinones, probably if she'd have played a little bit more early in the season, she's the X factor that nobody's talking about. She probably should have been the National Freshman of the Year if she had gotten more run or more attention early on. But Blanca Quinones, if UConn wins it all, it's going to be because that freshman shows up and has a really good tournament.
Okay, on to another team. Someone so wise back in February said, it's funny because people do sleep on UCLA. Does that sound familiar, Holly? You flagged them as a championship team to watch. What do you see from them? What do you like? What do you like about their run to the Final Four this year?
The thing I like about them this year is they are a much more balanced team. Last year, if Lauren Betts didn't perform, they'd struggle. And this year, she has got a lot more depth around her. So number one, I'm obsessed with Gianna Neepkins. This is a kid that was at Utah, was leading the nation in three-point shooting, 53% three-point shooter in her first 2 seasons. Had a Lisk-Frank injury, has come back from that, transferred to UCLA. And she is somebody I'm really looking to. She has to be big for them. And then Charlize Ledger-Walker is new, didn't play in the Final Four last year. I trust her. She can handle the ball. She can get them in the right thing. She's just like this presence that you feel good about. So UCLA is a very different team than what we saw in the Final Four last year. And I do think they can be very good.
I liked Ledger Walker at Washington State a lot.
I love her.
So it's like interesting to see her kind of like in this role now. Yeah.
She's a calming presence. She is a big, strong defender. She can get downhill. And they've also got Kiki Rice. They've got a really great complement. So I like it because Lauren doesn't have to do everything. They've got a little bit more depth and spacing around her.
And then Texas, you mentioned their defense. They're killing everybody. They're all over him. But like offensively, what do you see from them that you like? How can they win?
So this is what's crazy. So Vic Schaefer was saying, he has been a defensive coach his whole career, and he would agonize over every possession. No one looks more miserable in the world on the sidelines than Vic Schaefer.
For sure.
He said, I'm not agonizing as much this year because we can score. And that's what's different about Texas is their offense is just as good as their defense this year. So we just saw them annihilate Michigan. I do just want to say I thought the officiating was horrific in that game. They just let way too much physicality go, and it wasn't fair to Michigan. But that's how Texas plays, and they force you to officiate it. And so I think this is going to sound crazy, but they might be the team to beat. There is something, and I have felt this for years when I am covering all these different championship teams. I felt it with Indiana football when I went to their practice. There is something different that is tangible that I can feel with Texas. Rory Harmon has taken, like this step, and I feel it. And so there's something special going on with this group right now. It's a blend of confidence, competence, energy, chemistry. Like I like what I feel from Texas.
Yeah, we were talking earlier just about kind of a little bit of the Sweet 16 and what we saw, a little bit of the Elite 8 and what we saw. Obviously, both UConn men and women are in the Final Four. I talked about that. Talked about how proud I am to be a part of the program, and then immediately followed it with, but now I'm nervous. Like now all I see is the things that can go wrong. And I think from that perspective, I could not agree with you more about Texas. There's like something in the air right now, and their style of play, even though we're joking about Coach Schaefer, like their style of play, if they do have the offense to match the defense in a one and done tournament, it's that you do not want to see a team that like the grittiness of how they play. You do not want to see that. So that scares me. Obviously that wouldn't happen until the final though, but South Carolina scares me. Yes, because of their talent. Yes, because of their depth. I think they have like a youthfulness about them with all the fresh faces. That's always like good. So even though they've been to the Final Four 6 times, it's like a new for this team. But last year, the look on their faces from losing to UConn in that final game, like there has to be a revenge redemption thing happening. And that also makes me nervous.
Yes.
So, by the way, same thing for UCLA. If somehow UConn and UCLA did meet in the final, it'd be the same thing. UCLA's face is on that bench. So I'm just like, over here as a UConn person, I am very, very nervous. Do you have any like who you think's going to win, who we're going to see in the final type
You know
take?
what's so crazy is I don't like to do that because I'm reporting the game and I like to be right. And so if I have put a prediction out there, then I'm like, oh, they've got to win this because I want to be right.
Yeah.
And so I really don't like to pick because I really want to remain completely unbiased. I will just say this. I truly, truly believe any team in Phoenix can win the national championship this weekend. And I wouldn't have said that a month ago. I thought it was UConn's to lose. And it may still be, but I just think the other teams have elevated. And I think even Vegas, like the lines are really close right now. And you guys know, Vegas usually knows. So I'm like, okay, well, Vegas says it's going to be close. Maybe it's going to be close.
I should take your advice. I put myself way out on a limb having Vandy in the Final Four. And obviously that didn't go well.
Not for Vandy's sake that they were going to beat UConn. I was like, Megan.
Okay, but can we talk about Vandy for one quick second? Because Shay Ralph, we love and adore. So I got to go do a feature on Shay Ralph about how competitive she is. And I told her about that I was at a practice at UConn in 2001 or 2. And that practice and the Kansas men's practice in 2008 are the two best practices I've ever been to in my life, going to thousands of basketball practices. You and Shay, and Sue, you're going to remember this. You guys were cutthroat. You were yelling at the walk-ons. Like the walk-ons would miss a shot in a drill and you and Shay would effing scream at them. And I remember being like, are we in trouble? Like, you would scream at people. Shay would scream at people. And it was awesome. And like the hair on the back of my neck would stand up.
Because we had to start the drill over.
Right. Because you were pissed, right? But it was so great. So that team to me, so I have had a mini obsession with Shay Ralph for most of my life, how competitive she is. And in this interview, like we do the whole interview. And right as we're getting ready to leave, I say to her, like, you know, I'm learning not to be so nice in my life because I've just been too nice. Like everybody walks over me because I'm just nice. And she's like, oh, I hate nice. Nice is the worst word. I like kind, but I hate nice. And then that was the headline of our piece. And I'm like, bingo. She did a shootout with her husband at the time he was her boyfriend. And he won a game of horse and she didn't speak to him for 4 days. She's on like a romantic weekend there to visit him and they don't speak for 4 days.
So, that's amazing.
Sounds about right. Right. Megan, do you want to add what you think about the word nice?
Oh, it's offensive. If anybody ever described me as nice, I'm just like, so you have nothing else that you want to say about me? Like there's nothing that you could possibly say. So you just said that. Like, I would rather be anything other than nice ever.
I've had to learn this lesson. I'm a reforming people pleaser. I'm trying in my older age. Yeah. And my ringtone on my phone right now, like if you were to call me right now, Sue, it's Drake's Nice for What? Like that's what exactly. Like, that's my ringtone because I'm like I want to be kind and I think I'm an amazingly kind person, but I want to be respected more than I want to be nice.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, can I do one soccer story because I feel like Megan, I want to give this compliment. Megan, you have been literally the best girlfriend partner ever in the history of the world because you come out, like we'll go to dinner, we'll come and do events and you are in it on the basketball. You know everything. You're invested.
I love basketball.
And we are not as good on the soccer. And I always feel so guilty. So I wanted to tell you one soccer story, if I may, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. So 2012.
Let's get out of here.
We're running the show, Holly.
Where's the show?
My one soccer story, 2012 London Olympics. And I had used a former London lover to get tickets as a local. So I was using his address. We get these kick-ass tickets to the USA-Canada match in Manchester at that famous Manchester U stadium. I forget the name of the stadium.
Old Trafford.
Old Trafford Park. And we are so psyched, right on the center line. And it's the first time I'm ever going to get to see Megan Rapinoe, Abby Wambach play in person. And I am like freaking out. So it's me, Doris Burke, Beth Mowens, Debbie Antonelli. We have this power group of women, sports fans there. We get to the train station to go from London to Manchester. And they have jacked up the tickets. So they are £300 each way. So it's going to cost us like £600, which is like $1,500 to like go see you guys play. It's more than we paid for the tickets. So as we're sitting there kind of arguing with the train desk agent, Beth Mullins pulls me aside and she's like, he likes your girls. And I'm like, what? And I had on a low, Sue, you would know this shirt. It was the Team USA issued deep cut V, Nike V, Team USA. And the guy, the deep V, the guy can't take his eyes off my boobs. And so he tells us that if we will go around the corner to this photo booth and get a student passport picture, he will give us student pricing to Manchester. And so we do. We run, we take turns. I sit there with the girls on the counter and entertain him. We all run and get our photos taken. And so to this day, I have a London student ID. And that is how I got to see you play soccer for the first time. And we made it to Manchester.
Wow. I never knew.
It was a crazy match. Do you remember this match?
Girl.
Got you to the gold medal game.
Crazy.
Overtime.
Crazy game. I never knew that like all of you were there. How incredible. Yeah, that was like one of the best games I've ever played.
I know. And we were there to see you. So we are trying to give back to you and your love. You have been such a wonderful, kind, loving basketball person, and we love you in this community. And we are trying to get better. I know we're trying to get better to be better soccer supporters for you.
Yeah, I got you.
We wanted to get your take on Coach Auriemma's rant. We talked a little bit about the balls and the rims, which is like a part of it. I know that's like a part of the story. He was lamenting over shooting percentages and whatnot. But what he's really talking about, for those that don't know, it's like the 2 regions that women's basketball uses as opposed to the traditional 4 regions. The whole idea was, Megan, you said this perfectly, to optimize like revenue streams, right? Have 8 teams in one region, 8 teams in the other. We'll have more fans. We'll have more this. We'll have more that. It'll be great. But like most things, you don't really know what's going to happen until you do it. And now that we're doing it, there's things like, practice time, availability is an issue, media availability, and when teams are going to do that. Again, all things that if you look it up, you'll see Coach Auriemma go off about. We were just curious, like, I'm sure you heard his rant. What were your thoughts? Is this like a real thing? What do you think happens moving forward?
So this is multi-layered, and it's way too long of a conversation for a quick podcast, but I'm going to do my best. 1, Gino goes off on a rant about something every single year at this time of the year. It is his way of taking the focus off of his players and taking some pressure off of his team. And he always uses this platform in a really smart and interesting way. So Gino does a rant every year, if you paid attention. Correct?
He does.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Point.
I know him very well. 2, what he said is not wrong. And so I'm of the thing where I have been covering the women's tournament now for over 30 years. I think this is like my 22nd or 23rd Final Four. So I feel like I have good knowledge about this. I like it for the fans to have the 2 sites because you get to see more games and you get to see more teams. And I do think that's fun. The attendance wasn't great in both sites this time, but we have had a killer, like the year it was in Seattle. Remember when it was in Seattle? That was sold out every game, so it's kind of like you've got to be strategic about the cities. I think where we went wrong this year is both sites are west of the Mississippi. Like you cannot exclude the entire East Coast from a site. That's not fair. There's so many basketball fans in the Eastern Corridor. So I think we have to be smarter about the sites we're selecting. Debbie Antonelli has been pitching this idea for a long time. And the more I think about it, I think it would be brilliant is to have the entire Sweet 16 in Vegas because they've got multiple arenas. The MGM has an arena. Thomas and Mack has an arena. T-Mobile, where the Aces play. What if you had all 16 teams at one site, but there were 4 arenas so we didn't have the conflicts with shoot-around times? That's another option. Some of it's ESPN's fault probably because, we have certain programming windows and those early shoot times are because of our programming windows. but we've done a really great job with our ratings and growing the game. So I don't want to criticize us. So this is a very multi-layered problem. He's not wrong. We can fix it. It's more complicated than people think.
Fair.
I think that we are getting to the point and are at the point in women's sports where historically we've had to make a lot of different considerations for a lot of different things that have nothing to do with the game, the optimization of the game, the optimization of the business. So you're saying like, well, the ratings are good, so I don't want to say anything ESPN. I think we're at a point, particularly around the Final Four in women's college basketball. What's the best city? What's the best time to put it on TV? Where's the best fan base? Put it there. That's what it's going to do. Like it's at that level now where it's the premier thing in the marketplace, or it's the premier event on ESPN. And so those considerations are going to be able to be made, not in the context of like, oh, well, if you do it here, you do it there, you do blah, blah, blah. It's just like, whenever these decisions are going to be made next, it's going to be like, well, this is the best product that ESPN can put on TV at this time during this time of the year. So it's going to get the absolute best that it can. It's going to get the best arenas. It's going to get the best region. It's going to get all of it. And it's really cool for all of us who've been in it for, 20, 30 years. We're finally at a point now where it's like, oh yeah, no, we're the best product in the marketplace. So everything can be optimized towards us instead of having to do all of these other considerations.
So let me ask you this. So, the NCAA, part of the problem is, the way that machinery works, bids are years out. Cities have to put in bids. I get mad that there's a lot of really great cities that don't bid on this and haven't found a way to optimize the earning potential of this. That's short-sighted.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pissed off to these cities, like, let's get it together. But it's moving to a dome in Indianapolis in a year or two. What do we think about women's basketball being in the dome? I don't think it's been in a dome since 2012 in San Antonio. Like, is that a solution to you of like, do we like the dome environment for women's sports?
That's for a region?
That's for the Final Four.
Oh, for the Final Four. I like a dome. I think I played in a dome my senior year in San Antonio, actually, also in 2002. It takes a second to adjust from like the depth perception of it all, and then you're fine. And then it's great because you're going to get 30,000 plus people, probably more now. So I think like making it bigger is better.
You know what I like? I like challenging women's sports fans to not show up. No, bring it here.
Come on out. Come on
We're
out.
not doing that.
You don't know who we are, do you?
Bring them out.
You need an arena filled? Ask us. You want to put it on TV? We're going to blow it out.
Literally.
Yes.
And it's going to be a really amazing thing that people come to for a lot of different reasons, most of which is the people on the floor playing the game. But it's also like, no, we're a part of something historic all the time. We are finally getting what we deserve. Like, I bet you that thing's going to be sold out. That's wild.
Yeah,
for sure.
Awesome. We just saw they announced they're going to have a series of volleyball matches for college in Wrigley Field. I mean, like, wow. I just love how we are growing and blowing it out and getting bigger. So anyway, back to the NCAA question. I don't like criticizing the NCAA because I know a lot of these people and they are trying really hard to get it right.
Yeah.
Like we sit here and act like they're not.
It's a growing pain. It's just a growing pain.
It is. And they're trying so hard and they are great people and really trying to do a good job. ESPN, we're not perfect. We have grown this game more than anybody else in the history of women's sports. ESPN has done more for women's sports than anybody, period. And so like, I hate to be critical, but we can improve and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, Holly, on a little bit of a different note, you're building something really special with your foundation, which I love the name. It's spelled JOY-US, joyous, love it. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about it, like the inspiration behind it, what you're working on now?
Yes. Oh, you're so sweet to ask. Thank you. So, you guys know, I went through a pretty hard battle with cancer, stage 4 metastatic. Usually you don't survive that. And I've been really lucky to survive. And while I was in that fight and while it was really hard and dark every day, I couldn't control like the surgeries or the spread of cancer, or what was going on with my body, but I could control having joy every day. And so I really lived this really purely beautiful, intentional way while I was sick. And I want to keep living that way now that I am healing and I am better. I just had clean scans in September. I've officially been moved to a survivorship program, which is really cool for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I am learning through this journey that we grind, we go through life. We're just worried about our job and our kids. Like, we do not seek joy and really try to find ways to be happy every day. So we are trying to find ways for people to be happy. So two quick examples. Last year we heard about a softball team in Oregon. It was coming home from a game, and a drunk driver ran into their team bus, killed their coach and one of their teammates. So we were able to take that entire softball team to the Women's College World Series so that their lasting softball memory would not be this tragedy. And then this year, this is our second year. Last year, we brought, the little chunky necklaces Dawn Staley wears. Those were inspired by this little girl, Blakely, who was going through leukemia. And we brought Blakely to the Women's Final Four last year. So she got to see Coach Staley coach in person for the first time. So these
amazing.
little ways that, we've got a 3-time ovarian cancer survivor coming here to Phoenix. She's a South Carolina fan. So me, and it's me and my son, we're trying to do all of this, but we just want to bring joy to people who are going through hard times. Like, everybody has these moments of despair, and we want to be the joyous thing that we can be together.
That's amazing. Is there any way that, or anything you want to tell our listeners on how to find out more or support?
Yeah, thank you. It's joyous.foundation, and just go on our website. We've got lots of different things coming up. We're taking people back to the Women's College World Series this year. We're taking people to the WNBA All-Star Game in Chicago. We've got lots of events and things coming up. We just bought season tickets. Pro softball is coming up. Will you guys please have me back on when softball season starts? The pro softball.
For sure.
We have pro softball in this country in the best possible way, with support from MLB for the first time ever. So I've bought season tickets to all the softball leagues everywhere, and we're going to bring people who need it to softball games this summer. So we're just trying to make people happy. Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, we're going back to the NCAA to close it out.
Okay.
Some rapid fire questions. We're going to hit you quick. Hit us back. Player of the year.
Sarah Strong.
Freshman of the year.
Blanca Quinones. I'm changing my vote. I know there's a lot of people, but Blanca has been unbelievable.
Coach of the year.
Gino Uriema.
Favorite tournament moment so far?
Oh, of this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is super random, but there's a player for Michigan named Brooke Quarles-Daniels. She's maybe 5'5". She leads the team in offensive rebounding. She's the second leading rebounder on the team, and she is this mighty might of a human being. And I fell in love with her. Brooke Quarles-Daniels, you have been my most joyous moment of the NCAA tournament this year.
Love it. All right, Holly, you survived.
Oh my God, thank God. I thought you were going to make me do we only said sticky balls. I thought you were going to make me do the bench start cut. I've been living in fear because
we'll bring you back on for that.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't
we'll do a softball version.
Yeah. Because let's do it right around the World Series, but then we can also preview the new, there's 6 new teams in great cities. Pro softball is finally going to take off in this country, and boom, and I'm really excited about it.
Awesome.
All right.
Love it. Thanks so much for joining us,
Thank
Holly.
you so much, Holly.
See you in a couple days. And now it's time for Are You a Megan or Are You a Sue, presented by AT&T. In this edition, we are going to talk about staying connected to old teammates. How do you stay connected to old teammates, which is much harder in retirement, we've both found. But Sue, how do you do it?
God, I stay connected to old teammates through group chats. I don't even know how many. Some of them are in their original form from when we were on the team together. I'm not joking. I have one from 2010. It's the original name, the original members, and that thing is still going. So that's definitely how I do it. It's a constant check-in. I love it all the time. Just constantly.
You have group chats, and then there's group chats of the group chats, and then there's group chats in the group chats, and then there's side chats, and then there's side chats, but then there's side group chats, and then there's
have you ever
connecting group chats, and it's the bifurcation of the chats is more than I can handle.
Have you ever seen that meme? I think it's a meme where it's every group chat has a smaller side chat of like 3 people. And if you're saying to yourself, my group chat doesn't, it just means you're not in it.
It just means you're not in it.
Tough.
Tough.
Tough. What about you though? What about you?
Yeah.
How do you stay connected to your teammates?
Well, with the texting, it's just sometimes I'm like, plugged in, really sometimes I'm not. And it's, I'm trying to be better, but I don't do a lot of consistent group chatting. So I feel like mine happens more spontaneous. Like I'm going to cold call someone. I'm going to like get the video up. I'm going to cold call them the day before we're going to the game. And I'm like, hey, are you going to the game? Because I'm going to be at the game in this city that I know you live in that I don't live in. Did I text before? No, but I'm getting the cold call up. And I'm seeing what's going on.
Chaotic behavior. I am denying that call and texting you back.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
denying
sometimes that and then writing in the group chat.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, what's up? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm here. And now we can talk about like where we're going to eat before the game or something. But
sometimes the cold call is special. It can be scary sometimes when it's a cold call. You're like, oh no, what happened? But when it's like a fun video call and it's like, yo, are you coming to the game? Those are fun. So yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah. I like a little call out of the blue. I feel like people like then know your personality. It's like, so much if I'm like calling a friend and, something's already like in there. They're like, are you calling about this? And I'm like, yeah, calling because I'm in town and I'm coming to the game and I want to go with you. What are we doing? When are you picking me up? Basically.
Word.
Do you feel like because you're in the group chats all the time, you end up making more plans or seeing people more or like less because you're already sort of like in their world in a way?
I don't think my group chats are actually set up for seeing each other. We live in totally different places. I'm very rarely in the same city. When we are, it does make planning easier. But I think the group chat, what I like about it is it's just that like low level hum of a connection that keeps you together, where when you do see each other, it's like you never missed a beat. It just keeps you something because it's hard when you don't see people. It's hard when you're not talking to them regularly, but the group chat keeps that connection going. But you feel like a video call does that?
No, I think you're actually like, oh, I like this. And I'm like, oh, I like it when it's like this. And so it's like lots of connection because we're like talking on the phone and I can see you and I'm doing it. And then it sort of like ends up making the relationship like sustained. Because I'm like, okay, I'm not talking all the time because that's just like not
it is
my
more
flow.
Intimate. Like it's more personal.
Yeah. But then it's like, we'll have these like big moments of connection. And then we're like, that's going to sustain us for a while. And then it's like, we're going to come back to it. So it's kind of like, you're going here, but if I leveled mine out, it would be sort of in the middle too. Okay. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, that makes sense. So are you a Megan or are you a Sue? Let us know. Call in at 1-833-a-touch-8. Also, we're asking our listeners to call in or comment on YouTube with your own household bickers. We want to hear them. Perhaps you do things in a very particular way and you want to know, am I a Megan or am I a Sue? We will weigh in and we'll highlight our favorites this Saturday at our live show. So call in for that as well. 1-833-a-touch-8 or leave us a comment.
Just a touch more, a little bit. Just a touch more.
Yeah. Okay, we're now close to the end of our show, so it's time for a touch more. Today's a touch more is a little different, it's a little special. You'll know why. We both have a touch more time for. Megan, start us off.
Today, we are recording on Tuesday, March 31st, is Transgender Day of Visibility. So we just want to wish our trans family the happiest of days. We love you. We see you. We know how trying these times are for you right now and just wanted to take a moment to say that. And unfortunately, we have to say that all in the same breath as a really horrible rule that came out from the International Olympic Committee. They've announced a new policy that they're calling, I can't even believe they're calling it this, because it has nothing to do with protecting women. I feel like two people who played at the very highest level for every competition that you possibly could don't agree with this and never felt like this was an issue at all. The protection of the female bracketed women's category. They're limiting people eligible to compete in the women's category to those who qualify as what they're calling, quote unquote, biological females. This will require a once-in-a-lifetime screening of all women's athletes for the SRY gene. And if an athlete tests positive for this gene, they will have to compete in the male category. We already know that biology, as much as we want it to be just nice and clean and tight and perfectly in one category or another, it's not. We know that. So now what we're doing is subjecting everybody, all women and all people who are identifying as women, to this really invasive testing that only to me just says like, oh, so we're just trying to whittle it down to a certain type of woman. Is that what we're doing? Like, that's really the whole game here. Like, there's been, they sort of like lost the battle on gay marriage and lost the battle on all these things. So it's just like, we're going to have this whole campaign for all these years to just hate trans people, which is such a small percentage of the population. It's actually like on a single hand when we're talking about sports. And just like thread the absolute tightest needle thread that you possibly could. This committee is framing it as based in science, which it's not. And this will ultimately just prevent people from competing within the women's category that they feel like have an unfair advantage. It's just really hateful. It's like there's been so few athletes that are trans or competing as trans, and it's like so blatant on its face. It's just a total acquiescence to the Trump administration and to really right-wing conservative politics that really is just like bringing down so much hate against such a small percentage of people who are just trying to live their life. So it's just horrible. And I'm just sickened by it, really.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up how there's not been that many trans athletes. Nikki Hiltz, who we had on a live show last year, track star, 2024 Paris Olympian, she was quoted as saying, "I don't know who needs to hear this, but 0 trans women competed in the Paris Olympics and 1 trans woman, a weightlifter, competed in the Tokyo 2021 Olympics, and she did not win a medal. Can we please stop obsessing over trans people? And I don't know, maybe focus our time, energy, and resources into real problems women's sports face." I mean, that kind of sums it up for me, because what's being presented as like this huge issue, we have to protect women. It's not. It's not. What it is fear mongering. And you brought up, the administration, for them to get votes. That's all this is. That's all it has ever been, in my opinion. I think the other part is a reminder. What we have always talked about and focused on is, if you open this door, if you crack this door open, it gets blown open, you're now policing women's bodies across the board. And I feel very sad about this. So to kind of circle back to how we started, just want to send so much love to the trans community, especially on its day of visibility.
All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. Today's episode is sponsored by AT&T, and we're back with Ted.
And we have one last, are you a Megan or are you Sue, okay? So let's get right into it. Is it more Sue or Megan to immediately call someone after a wild play?
Oh, definitely Megan.
Yeah, that's accurate. Very much a me thing to do.
And what are you saying when you call people after a wild play?
Honestly, nothing useful. It's a lot of words, but nothing useful.
She means a lot of screaming.
Yeah, like, did you see that? Oh my gosh.
Wow. No, that's a super strong communication strategy. I agree.
No, it's effective.
When the connection matters, it has to be AT&T.